What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Oak and Smoke Whiskey Reviews. My name is Brent. I thank everyone so much for showing up tonight. It is blind tasting night. Tonight, I'm going to be going over two of the Buffalo Trace sought after whiskeys. They're both the same mash bill. They're both very well sought after whiskeys. There's a lot in common with both these whiskeys I'm going to be going over tonight. Before I get into that, I'm going to say hi to everyone in the chat. Check out the chat real quick. We've got Trev. Thanks for stopping by. Trev Wilson. Whiskey in the Six wasn't here. What's up, Rob? I got the Bourbon buddies. What's up, guys? Guy Davis, what's going on, man? How you doing, buddy? Chad Loss, what's up, buddy? Sam Clark, good to see you, man. Sam Clark, this is hold on one second. Hey, Oak and Smoke Whiskey Reviews, all the way from England. My first time watching your streams. Thanks. Hey, I appreciate you stopping in, Sam. I'm just getting into live streaming. Setup's not the greatest right now. I'm going to improve on it. I will be shooting my lives in my set sometime here in the near future, but from right now, I'm doing it in my home. Patrick Fulmer, what's up, buddy? What is going on, guy? This should be interesting. Both these whiskeys that I'm going to be doing a blind on tonight, they have the same mash bill. It's Buffalo Trace's mash bill number 2. They're both single barrel bourbons. They're both proofed pretty much the same, pretty close. So it's going to be interesting blind, and they're both regarded highly with whiskey enthusiasts. They're definitely both great pours. And after we get done going through the blind, I got a couple whiskeys here on hand. I'll let you guys pick which one we're going to do. We may end up doing both of them. I have the Chicken Cock 8-year. This is their single barrel 160th anniversary edition. We can do that one, or we can go into a rye whiskey, which is the Family Estate Willet Rye Whiskey. Have you guys, has everyone in the chat had Elmer T. Lee and Blanton's? See, the chat's running way behind. Check this out real quick. Yeah, thanks, Sam, for stopping in, man. Glad you're joining in on the stream. We are going to be doing this Buffalo Trace right here. This one is from, of course, Warehouse H. Rick number 1 is from barrel 2983. And this is 46.5%, 93 proof. And it was bottled in 2018, 12/21/18. I've had this bottle for a while. It hasn't been opened that long. I do have a backup of this one, of this bottle right here. Blanton's where I'm at isn't really extremely hard to get. You can probably go to 6 or 7 different liquor stores and find it pretty easily at, I guess, MSRP around $60, $65. You will have some stores that are selling for upwards of $130, which I don't really like paying secondary pricing for anything if I don't have to. There is, I guess, an occasion for that on your limited release bottles and stuff. But the Elmer T. Lee, I don't have a bottle of. This here is a sample that I got from DJ Beacon. This is Elmer T. Lee, also a single barrel whiskey, mash bill number 2 at 90 proof. And how I'm going to do this is I have 2 Glencairns here. They both say Stitzel Weller on them. There's no cheating involved here. I really want to know which whiskey or which bourbon that I think is the best. I've had Elmer T. Lee before. I've never personally owned a bottle just because, unlike Blanton's, it's kind of hard to get. And me and my wife was at Justin's House of Bourbon last weekend, and they had 6 or 7 bottles for around $225. you know, as far as paying secondary pricing like that on a bottle, I can't justify it. You know, I mean, like your Four Roses limited edition that just came out, the Four Roses small batch, that's a once in a, they're never going to make that again. Secondary pricing is kind of justifiable on that. Elmer T. Lee, Blanton's, they're coming out with it every year. But anyway, we are going to get into this. And the way I've marked these, I marked this A. We will put the Elmer T. Lee in A and the Blanton's in B and kind of go on from there. Let's see, I think we have some more people in the chat. David Jackson, only Blanton's. Yeah, I have not had Elmer T. Lee in quite some time, so it's going to be something different for me also. Trying to keep up with the chat. Like I said, I'm just now starting to get into the live streaming. Trying to get into the live streaming a little bit more. It is super fun, and that was a huge pour right there. Okay, we've got the Elmer T. Lee is poured, and it is in A. It is in A, and now we're going to probably polish off the Blantons. I do have another bottle of this in case we need to get into some more of this, but I don't think we will. This is from the Infinity Bottle episode that I did do. And this is what's the leftover remnants from that. And this bottle's probably been open for, I mean, around 7-8 months tops. Hasn't been open that long. It is a pour that I do give company when they come over quite often because not everybody gets to experience Blanton's, and it's one of those pours that a lot of people want to try and get to know. Once again, I want to thank everyone for stopping in. I'm going to pour a little bit of this Elmer T. Lee back just to even them out. Kind of over poured it, and it's definitely not the same height as the Blanton's was. All right, let's see who's in the chat. Hey, what's up, Peter? Peter White, thank you so much for stopping in. Yeah, all right. Now, like I said, we've got A is Elmer T. Lee. B is Blanton's. I'm going to switch. I know you guys can't see. I wish I had a better live stream setup than I do right now, and I am working on that here in the near future. Hopefully be streaming from my set and have a lot better view and all that stuff. But kind of switch these around a little bit just so we don't know which one is which. All right. Right. Dusty, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, Dan? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see Dusty Dan. Hey, next weekend, me and Dusty Dan will be going live. He sent me this 1995 Jim Beam 200th anniversary bottle to celebrate the birth of my daughter. Awesome gesture. Nice, very, very nice bottle. And me and him kind of go over that together and go over some other blind samples also next weekend sometime. And I just found out right before I went on live that the Whiskey Dick is also on right now. His scheduling is definitely kind of hit and miss, kind of like mine is. I'm trying to get some kind of regular live stream schedule going on, but yeah, did not mean to go on the same time as the Whiskey Dig. All right, I've got these switched up right here. Guy Davis, Brent, I'm drinking OF 1429, but that expression is one of my faves. All right, Guy Davis. The chat is definitely behind right now. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to keep up with two different chats here. There's Guy Davis. All right. Guy Davis is drinking Old Fitz 1920. Definitely an awesome pour right there, Guy. That is a solid pour anytime. Good Friday night pour. Once again, I want to thank everyone for stopping in. All right. We've got Blanton's as B, and we've got Elmer T. Lee as A. All right. On this one right here, I'm going to the nose of this one. This one here is very, very vanilla caramel. It does have a little bit of a floral sense to it. Get a nice cherry note on it also. And both these whiskeys are so similar. Same mash bill. The only difference really is a little bit of the proof and warehouse location on these whiskeys. They're both single barrels, same mash bill number 2. And it's just they're very close. You would think they'd be very similar. We're about ready to see how similar they are. But on this one right here, it has a nice floral sense to it, a nice floral vanilla caramel sense to the whiskey. Getting a nice cherry note. Some baking spice, so that rye spice is kind of coming through on this one. And the cherry note is like a maraschino cherry note. A nice dark cherry note on this one. It does have a nice nose. I'm not really having to dig deep to get much of the aroma coming off the whiskey. The age on these, I think the Blantons is somewhere around 6 to 8, and I'm not really sure on the Elmer T. Lee. Hey DJ, what's up, man? DJ Beacon is in the house. DJ Beacon is in the house. DJ, thank you so much for the sample. We are going through it tonight. I should have emailed you. I just kind of really didn't have time. I should have emailed you and let you know that I was drinking your whiskey tonight. Thank you once again. Let's go. I'm going to go into this next sample right here, or the next whiskey. This one here seems a lot more floral than the first whiskey I tried. Yes, this one's very, very, very floral. Baking spices and vanilla. Vanilla caramel. There's really not much fruitiness going on with this one on the nose. Yeah, this one has a little bit of some baking spices or cardamom on it also. Very, very floral nose on this one. Definitely vanilla caramel once again. There's on the first one I had definitely a more fruity aspect, but they are very similar in regards to, you know, your typical vanilla caramel notes. This one here, the first one I went to, did seem a little more rich. It was very more distinct on the nose than the second one I went to. Once again, vanilla caramel on the second one. Vanilla caramel. Not much fruitiness at all in this one. It's mostly vanilla caramel, some baking spices. The rye spice is coming through, but not as distinct on the first pour that I went to. All right, let me go back to the first one again. One more time on the nose. Check out the chat real quick. There are some more people coming in. DJ Beacon, once again, want to thank you so much for the samples. DJ sent me some outstanding samples, and I wouldn't be able to do this stream tonight without him because I do not have a bottle of the Elmer T. Lee. Thank you so much once again, DJ, for the samples. I'm going to try to get this off the chat here. All right. There we go. Yeah. All right. One real quick. All right. There we go. Bam. Cheers, DJ. Thanks once again, buddy. All right. Excuse me while I navigate through this. Once again, live streaming is kind of new to me. I'm definitely not real savvy at this. But once again, first impressions on the nose. The first one I went to was definitely more rich, dense whiskey than the second. The second one seemed just vanilla caramel, a little baking spice, no fruitiness to it. The first one had a nice rich cherry note on it. I'm going to go back into the first one again. Yeah, it's a nice, distinct, like almost robust cherry note on this one right here. Nice vanilla caramel, a little bit of an oak note. Some nice, definitely, there's some nice baking spices, a little cinnamon coming through on this one also as I'm going back to it on the nose. Yeah, but see this one here, I'm liking the first one's nose a lot more than the second one right now. Yeah, the second one seems so much more muted and just it doesn't seem as distinct. It has vanilla caramel on it, a little rye spice, maybe a little bit of an oak note popping through. But there's no fruitiness to it at all. This one here definitely has a deep, rich cherry note. I'm really digging on this one right here. The first one, this one right here, definitely digging the nose on this one a lot more than that. Let's go into the taste, guys. Go into the taste. I want to thank everyone once again for stopping in. Cheers. This one's very consistent with the nose. Vanilla, caramel up front on the first sip. Got a nice mouthfeel. Finish, I'd say, is medium. And it's finishing in like a nice cherry vanilla note. A little bit of oak, not a whole lot present. Nice first sip on this one here. I'm going to go in for another real quick, try to get a little bit better feel of the whiskey. Cheers, guys. Very nice. I would say definitely a medium finish, vanilla caramel up front on the front of the palate. Mid palate, picking up a little rye spice, some baking spices. And on the finish, getting a nice cherry note, a really nice cherry note, and a little bit of oak on this pour right here. And I seen DJ in the chat ask if it was the Blanton store pick. No, it is not the store pick. It is the Blantons right here. I didn't want to do a store pick against the Elmer T. Lee sample that you sent, but I have not got into the store pick. Well, I might even break that out later, depending on how long this goes on. But thanks again for the samples, DJ. I'll get you some sent out probably mid next week sometime. Thanks again. Very nice palate mouthfeel on this first one. Let's go into the second one, guys. Cheers. Once again, I want to thank everyone for stopping in. They are so similar in so many ways. Vanilla caramel, some rye spice. Not as much of a fruity aspect on this one. It does have a more of an oak note, a little bit more of an oak note I'm getting on the second pour. On the first sip. And it is drying out just a tad bit more than the first one. Let me get a drink of water here before I go back into that one. What's everyone else drinking tonight? All right. Trying to check out the chat here real quick, guys. I'm going to go in for another sip of the second pour right here. Hey, what's up, Richie Z? I see Richie Z is in the house. What's up, Richie? What's up, Eric W? Thanks for joining in. All right, I'm going for another sip, guys. Cheers. Yeah, the first one is definitely more fruity. It's got more of a cherry note to the first one. This one is more vanilla caramel, some baking spices, a little bit of cinnamon maybe, still middle of the road finish. And it does seem to have a little bit more of an oak note than the first one. I'm gonna go back in for another sip of this one right here. The first one, kind of go back and forth here real quick. I want to thank everyone once again for stopping in. I'm sorry you guys cannot see these. It's kind of my setup right now. I can't get, it's kind of weird. I'm using my computer, the webcam on in. It's kind of weird to get everything in the picture. Once again, I am working on my live stream setup. I appreciate everyone's patience with that. I should have it set up to where I can go into my studio or my set and actually do lives from there here soon. But I'm gonna go back into the first one. Once again, cheers. Yeah, I'm liking the first one more. Definitely liking the first one more. It's more rich and dense. The vanillas and the caramels that are on this one are just jumping out way more. Mid palate, it does have a nice like allspice, baking spice, and it's finishing off. It's got a nice cherry note on it too. Some cherries, like a dark fruit, and a nice. And the oak note showing up a little bit more in this sip. Very nice sip. I'm leaning towards the first one. I see DH Silv. Dustin just stopped in. What's up, Dustin? Thank you so much for stopping in, buddy. I'm liking the first one. I'm definitely liking the first one, whichever one that was. I'm liking it more. It just seems more rich, more well put together. It unfolds very nicely on the palate. I'm gonna go into the second one again. Get another little sip of water here. All right. Try to keep up with the chat. 2 chats going. All right. All right, here we go. Second pour, guys. Here we go. Cheers. This one seems thin. This one, in comparing to this one, the second pour definitely seems thin. Excuse me. Excuse me. Definitely seems thin compared to the first one. Bourbon Saint in the house. What's up, buddy? Yeah, what I was saying, the second one definitely seems thin compared to the first one. I'm going for another sip. I got choked up a little bit there, guys. Cheers. Yeah, definitely seems thin. Thin compared to the first one. Yeah, it's nice caramel, vanilla, typical bourbon notes, mid palate. You got a little bit of a rye spice, baking spice, and a nice soft oak note. Nothing real pronounced on the oak notes. Like I said, both these whiskeys are anywhere from the 6 to 8 year mark. I think. I know on the Blanton 6 to 8 years. Elmer T. Lee, I'm not as sure. I think it's in the same category as well. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say I prefer this pour right here. This is definitely the better of the two. Take another sip of this one. Cheers. Yeah, definitely. Without a doubt, hands down, the cherries coming through. More, I go back to it. Cherries very pronounced. Nice vanilla caramel, but they are very similar pours. They are very, very similar without a doubt. Both of them have nice caramel, vanilla. Just one of these two seems thin and lighter in comparison to the other. All right, my favorite one is this one. Get ready to get to the reveal here, guys. All right, Elmer T. Lee. Elmer T. Lee was definitely better than the Blantons, in my opinion. Now, they were both very similar in a lot of ways. The Elmer T. Lee was definitely more rich and dense, and even like the ways they were similar, such as your caramel, vanilla, your baking spices. And the Elmer T. Lee, it was much more rich and dense, and it just, the flavors popped a lot more than it did on the Blantons. Both very, very nice pours, both legendary whiskeys without a doubt. But I really, really, really think the Elmer T. Lee is superior, which is, I mean, as far as proof point goes, the Elmer T. Lee is a lower proof, but yet coming through and drinking much more like a higher proof, superior whiskey. Now, they're very, both mash bill number 2. They're both somewhere, I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, I think they're both somewhere around in the same age also. Mash bill's the same. Warehouse location is definitely different. Proof point, definitely about the same, and they're both single barrels. So, I mean, definitely, you can definitely tell they are very, very close and similar. But as far as the head-to-head, I would have to say Elmer T. Lee is my definite favorite out of these two. All right. Has anyone else done this comparison or put the two side by side? And what are your guys' thoughts in the chat? Trying to keep up with the chat now. I've kind of been ignoring it for a few minutes. All right. Chris, man, thank you so much for stopping by. Richie Z. Dusty Dan, once again, man, thank you so much for stopping by. Wesley Zeller, what's up, buddy? Wesley Zeller is drinking Michter's. Yeah, Michter's rye whiskey. That's very nice. Man, Michter's does some great stuff. Michter's does some really, 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 really good stuff, man. I am not blind to them. I've both never had the Elmer. Hey, Richie, the Elmer, man, I'm telling you, bud, if you've had the Blantons, they're very, very similar. They're very, very similar. But you could take Blantons and put it on steroids and add a nice, rich, fruity note like a cherry or a maraschino cherry, and you have Elmer T. Lee at a lower proof point, which is kind of crazy, but definitely thinking that Elmer T. Lee is the better of the two, in my opinion. All right, guys. I've got a couple whiskeys out here, guys, that I have not reviewed. I'm going to let you guys pick on kind of which one I go through next, or we probably have time to go through them both if you guys want. It doesn't really matter to me. You guys can call it. Want to see what's going on here? Okay, we have the Chicken Cock 8-year single barrel 160th anniversary. There was only 30 barrels of this made or produced. Kind of weird reviewing a whiskey or putting up a video of a whiskey like that because there's just a limited quantity. But I have this to choose from and several other whiskeys if you want. But I have brought these two out in the Willett Estate Rye. If you guys can choose, I will see what's going on in the chat and let you guys choose which pour we go to next. Checking out the chat. Dusty Dan picked up a 4-gate bottle today. Very nice. He got the foundation. 4-gate. I don't know if you guys have experienced that. 4 Gates is doing some outstanding things in the whiskey world. Okay, we're going Willet Rye all the way is what it's looking like. Yeah, it's Willet Rye time. All right. Finish this MRT lead because it is outstanding. And DJ Beacon, thank you so much, man, for the samples. Thank you so much, bud. And I appreciate everyone for stopping in. Willet for sure looks amazing. All right, Sam, we'll go to the Willet. All right, let me get another Glencairn out. All right, pop over here real quick. All right. Pour some Willet Estate Rye. This is the 4-year offering. I think it's coming in at like 108 proof. And these are, I mean, I see them around here quite often. I don't know how available they are everywhere else. I think it was Chris, the Music Man, commented on a post I put on Instagram, said he's never even seen one. I picked this one up actually in Florida. We were on vacation. To be honest, for around $30. $30 at 108 proof, cask strength, rare release or limited release. This is 51.4%, 108.2 proof, Willet Straight Rye Whiskey, rare release. Rare. Now, whatever, I mean, that means is kind of got up to you guys. I know there's a lot of limited release things out there that they're making 90,000 bottles of. It kind of depends on the size of the distillery. I know it's Scotch. In Scotch, for instance, this is something I've noticed, when you say limited release in Scotch, it's totally different than a limited release in bourbon. Something that you can make. Some of the Scotch releases are really, really, really like 400 or 500, maybe 1,000 bottles. For instance, your Angel's Envy Rye limited release, there was, I think, 90,000 bottles of that. So limited release is kind of a thrown around word. So let's just small batch and all that other stuff. Scott, what's up, buddy? My Bourbon Journey. Thank you so much for stopping in, buddy. Thank you so much, man. All right, this is the Willet Family Estate Rye 4-year. Cheers, everybody. On the nose, right away, I'm getting cinnamon. This is very cinnamon forward on the nose. Yeah, very, very cinnamon forward. I'm getting maybe a little bit of like butterscotch in there. A hint of dill, not much. And some like baking spices and like allspice on the nose. Very cinnamon forward though on the nose of the Willet Family Estate 4-year rye. Yeah, well, I am getting more of a butterscotch nose now. Cinnamon and butterscotch. That rye spice is definitely coming through, some baking spices. Not much of an oak note on this one. It's a very distinct nose. It is kind of jumping out of the glass. It's not nothing you want to dive into the glass on for sure. The proof's not showing itself when I'm saying that. It's just kind of jumping out of the glass with very nice aromas such as cinnamon, butterscotch. A hint of dill. There is some dill in there. Some baking spice. And a little bit of an oak note. Just a hint of an oak note in there. It's a nice nose on the whiskey. Nothing super crazy on the nose. I'm gonna get a little drink of water for going to the taste. All right, guys, going to the taste, guys. Cheers. Yeah. Cinnamon forward. I'm getting a lot of cinnamon on this one. Very cinnamon forward on the first sip. Cinnamon, a little vanilla, a little bit of vanilla and caramel. It's kind of finishing off in the vanilla's kind of getting drugged through the cinnamon. The cinnamon on this one is very heavy. I see a lot of people in the chat has had the Willett Estate. Has anyone else experienced the Yeah, I'm very. I try to keep my hands out, even in my video reviews or the uploads I put up. It's just something I do, guys. Sorry, it's kind of what I do. It's kind of how I express how I'm feeling. But yeah, I think I even had a comment that says, "Man, this guy looks like he's directing an orchestra." But yeah, I don't mean to do it. It's just something I do when I'm going through the whiskey. I guess I don't know if it helps me gather my thoughts or wrap my hands around it, but yeah, that I do it. I do, man. Scott, thank you so much, man, for stopping by. Man, if you guys ain't checked out my bourbon journey, which I'm sure most of you have, excellent channel, super great guy. Glad to be able to call him my friend. Super good guy, man. But anyway, I've noticed a bunch of you guys in the chat have had this. Is it cinnamon forward to everyone else? It seems very cinnamon forward to me. Very, very cinnamon forward. Going back to the nose, dill is showing up a little bit more right now. I'm getting dill, cinnamon. A little bit of that butterscotch is coming through now in the nose. Just busting balls. It's cool though. It's kind of funny. It's just kind of what I do, man. But yeah, I'm getting cinnamon, butterscotch, a little bit of dill in there, a little bit of dill, vanilla caramel on the nose as I revisit it. Once it's got acclimated to the palate, for me, I revisit the nose after I've actually introduced the whiskey to my palate. It does help me out. It does help me out on nosing whiskeys. Yeah, definitely still cinnamon's still there. It has lightened up a little bit. I don't know if it's where it's coming off the previous whiskeys or not, but it did seem very cinnamon forward at first. Cinnamon, butterscotch. That rye spice is coming through, dill, vanilla caramel. Nice nose to the whiskey. Very nice nose. And now the Bourbon Insane did say it in the chat. The alcohol, there is a little bit of ethanol in it now. A little bit of ethanol. Kind of weird how the mind will play tricks on you when you're tasting whiskey. Wasn't into rye until I tried Willett. I can understand that. I mean, for me, I'm really not a huge rye guy either, man. I'm really not. I do like Michter's. I really enjoy Michter's ryes. Their barrel strength rye is outstanding. It's probably that Pikesville. This great rye whiskeys, without a doubt, great rye whiskeys. But as far as complexity and depth and character, rye for me personally, it's not just tickling my fancy too much. I'm trying to get more into rye. I've talked to Dan about this a little bit, and Scott, for matter of fact. Me and Scott from My Bourbon Journey and Dusty Dan from Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. I talk to them guys quite often. They're just rye's really. It's really not my thing right now. You know, it's really, really not. But I'm enjoying this pour. I really enjoy the Willet. I really enjoy Michter's, and I really like Pikesville. Thank you so much, guy, for stopping in. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate the comment. But this one here, I mean, it's a very nice pour. I mean, I think I picked this up for, like I said, $35, $35. I mean, 108 proof whiskey. I think it's 108, yeah, 108 proof. Definitely a nice pour. $35. I mean, you can't beat that. Definitely cinnamon still on the nose. Rye's my love. I will spend stupid on the. There you go, Peter. Rye's my love. I will spend stupid on the rye. I get it. A lot of people just love rye whiskey. I love it. I mean, me personally, it's kind of not. It's just not. It's not my thing right now. I don't know. I don't know if it's just due to lack of complexity, or I really don't know what it is. It just doesn't. I mean, as far as. It's a good sipper that doesn't demand my attention. But me personally, I've got the family going and stuff now. When I do drink, I don't drink as often as much. I don't as much as I used to. I want something that kind of demands my attention. I can sit down and just think and ponder on. And rye just hadn't been doing it for me lately. But yeah, a lot of people love rye. I can see why. You know, I can definitely see why. It's just rye's just kind of not my thing right now. But the nose on this one, nice. If you're into cinnamon, cardamom, a little bit of dill, butterscotch, and a little bit of vanilla in this one. Going in for another taste, guys. Cheers. Richie, let me know what you think when you do pour it. See if you're getting a cinnamon aspect as I am. I just took another sip of it. Very cinnamon forward whiskey, in my opinion. Very cinnamon forward. It does have a little bit of a butterscotch note right as the back of the palate. So, and some rye spice or baking spice. And it is finishing kind of hot, you know. And there is some clove. Yeah, I see that. Kind of looking through the chat here real quick, guys. The chat is so different. Like, I'm looking at the YouTube chat and I'm looking at the StreamYard chat, and the StreamYard chat is behind. Cinnamon up front with the clove. Yes, I totally went past the clove. I can see the clove note. Very, very cinnamon forward, without a doubt. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see it does have some layers to it. And as far as I'm like the Old Forester rye, I really like that one too. It was one of those rye whiskeys that you call barely a rye. I think though that extra grain, whether it be as in your Old Forester, the malted barley is your second dominant grain, or in like your Woodford Reserve rye, it's another good one. The corn being a second dominant grain. I think that the extra grain, when you have your 95% rye whiskeys and stuff, that's just not like the Bullet 12 year. I think it's 95 or 100%. It's one grain, a single grain whiskey, and the depth and character. To me, I mean, this is just me. my words definitely not in stone by no means, but I think it lacks a little bit, you know. But that's just me. Anyway, I'm trying to keep up with the chat here a little bit. DJ Beacon, My Bird Journey. I enjoy the 2018 their own rye. We are on Rye Whiskey Net right now. Rye Whiskey. All right. Well, all right. Check this out. All right. Take another sip of this, guys. Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. Peter White. That is my favorite rye. Peter White, what you just called out is my absolute favorite rye. It is that but in saying that whiskey, that rye whiskey right there, it to me doesn't drink like your typical rye whiskey. It's got very, very nice. It's not overly sweet, and it does have nice caramels and butterscotches. And it's just a very rich, dense, and it is somewhat complex. It does have some complexities to it. That is my absolute favorite rye you just called out there, Peter. That's my fave, man. That is my favorite rye. And if I could drink that rye every day, but I think even at the distillery right now, when you pick that up, you can go there and get your own bottle. If you're there at the right time, you can go there and get your own bottle. But it went from like $80 to like $150 or $180 for the Michter's barrel strength rye, just due in part, I guess, to the secondary market. But all right, guys, I'm going to try to get into this one. We have been going now for we just got another 15, 20 minutes. Michter's barrel strength rye or 10-year rye? The barrel strength. Yes, it is the barrel strength rye. That's my fave. That is my absolute favorite rye whiskey is the Michter's barrel strength rye whiskey. Now, the chicken. Yeah, DJ Vic. Has anyone had this? It is the Chicken Cock single barrel 160th anniversary whiskey. The bottling, I will say, is very, very nice bottling. It's very nice bottling. It's very cool. The cork is actually what covers the cork. On top, there's a screwed-on cap, and it's actually to pour your whiskey in. That's the way they did it back in the day, I guess. But it's a bottle that is kind of what they've released to get the brand going again. I have drank some of the other Chicken Cock, their Heritage Reserve. I have not had that, Peter White. I have not had that. 16-year family reserve caster. I have not had that. Matter of fact, Peter, I have not heard of that. Is that Canadian? Is that a Canadian whiskey? I know Peter is from Canada. I do have another rye. I've got the Lot 40. I have not tried that. DJ Beacon sent me the Lot 40. You guys want to do the Lot 40 or this Chicken Cock? Kind of weird even saying that. But you guys want to do the Lot 40 or the Chicken Cock rye whiskey? I'll let you guys respond to that in the chat. Wesley Zeller, I have not had the Whistle Pig 10-year rye. Well, actually, I have. Take that back. I take that back. I had a store pick. I think Dusty Dan sent me that was actually Very, very nice. Peter White said you will not like the Lot 40. All right. I'm taking your word on that, Peter. I am taking your word on that, Peter. All right, let's get into chicken cock. Has anyone else had this in the chat? This is a MGP sourced whiskey coming in at 90 proof, and this is $100 a bottle. Yeah, $100 a bottle. Get a little bit of water in there, clean that glass out. Let's get another Glencairn. Grab another Glencairn. All right. Trying to keep up with the chat here. All right. This is the chicken cock. All right. Wesley Zeller, I have had the Whistle Pig, but the 10-year picks is what I've had, and they were very, very nice. They were very, very nice picks. I really enjoyed those picks. Like I said, I am definitely not dogging rye whiskey by no means. It's just rye is just kind of not my thing. It just hasn't been yet. Michter's barrel strength rye is definitely my fave. And Peter keeps talking about this. Peter keeps talking about this rye whiskey here. It's bottled in the U.S., but it's Alberta rye, MGP of the North. All right, there we go. MGP sourced whiskey. All right, this here is the chicken cock. There was only 30 barrels of this. This is barrel number 6, bottle number 210. And this is coming in around $100 a bottle. Cheers, everybody. Caramel vanilla on this one. Dram Bam, thank you, man. Thank you so much for coming in. It's caramel and vanilla. Caramel vanilla bomb, actually. Caramel, vanilla, a little bit of like a baking spice or a rye spice on the back of the palate. And that's about it on the first sip. Richie Z, Brent, how far are you from MGP? Do they have distillery visits? Richie, I'm probably about 2 hours, an hour and a half from MGP. Do they have distillery visits? Yes, they do. And I think they do release some of their own whiskey. I know Tanner's Creek is one of them. MGP's puts out some great stuff. This is MGP sourced whiskey right here. 90 proof whiskey. This is very vanilla, caramel, maybe a little brown sugar, a little bit of a baking spice note, a little oak note. It's 8-year MGP whiskey. It's a nice pour. It's just kind of hard to get real enthusiastic about this one, due in part to the fact, in my mind, I'm saying it's $100. It's $100 whiskey. It's in the first sip, and I have spent a little bit of time with this one. It's just not, as far as $100 pour, it's definitely not that. Alberta Distillery is owned by Beam Centauri, also barrel rye, 13-year single barrels of most owns it. Peter White. All right. Cheers, DJ. Cheers, buddy. Thank you so much, man, for the samples. All right, I'm going for another sip of this one, guys. Cheers. Chicken cock. It's vanilla, caramel, brown sugar, a little bit of a rye spice on the back of the palate, and a little bit of an oak note. It's very hard to justify, the $100 price range on this pour. It just really, really is. That's what I'm thinking the whole time I'm drinking it. This costs $100. I mean, at $40, I think it would be a tremendous value. Yes, the bottling is cool. The bottle's probably where most of the money, I guess, went to. I know it's probably cheaper to source your whiskey than to distill your own nowadays. But yeah, it's definitely not $100 pour of whiskey. All right, let's see who's still all in the chat. Once again, I want to thank everyone for stopping in, man. I'm going to try to start doing this a lot more often. Pretty sure the Joseph Magnus single barrel picks. Yeah, man. Hey, Richie, Joseph Magnus is outstanding. I love Joseph Magnus. Joseph Magnus is I think, and you are correct, it is a sourced MGP whiskey. And MGP is putting out some solid stuff. I mean, if you don't like MGP, you probably don't like whiskey, because a lot of these distilleries are getting their whiskey from MGP. But, I mean, thanks, Guy Davis. I greatly appreciate that, man. Great to see you tonight, dude. Thank you so much, man, for stopping in. MGP is, back to Richie's comment, they are doing great things in whiskey. And I think a lot of people go to them because they know they're getting good, solid stuff. I can't say anything bad about MGP. I think they are doing some great things in the whiskey community, without a doubt, in the whiskey world. This one here, though, it's not bad. It's caramel, vanilla, brown sugar. It's just, to me, not $100 pour of whiskey. Has anyone else had this? Has anyone else had this? The chicken cock whiskey. We got a few more minutes here. I'm going to do one more. Are you guys cool with that? We'll do one more. And Angelo Aguilera, thank you so much for stopping in. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Let's do one more. Peter White said, I would not like the lot 40. Yeah, he said I would not like the 40. This is the 86 proof lot 40, Peter. No chicken cock for me. Yeah. Man, it's just, and I've drank some of their other offerings, Peter, and I think one of them was actually they're at 6-month whiskeys in it. It was like $40. They're trying to get on their feet. I understand it. I get it. And they're rebranding, I think, in a good way. They're not taking, because chicken cock actually in the 40s and 50s was probably one of the most popular brands out there. They really were. They were actually, and through Prohibition, chicken cock made it through Prohibition. They were taking their whiskey into Canada. They were taking it into Canada, and muling it back across in like mason jars. That's what they were doing to keep the whiskey. For some reason, they were wanting to keep their whiskey in Canada. I read a little bit of a story about that. But I'm good. Peter White said I won't like the lot 40. I've heard great things about lot 40 rye whiskey. I'm gonna try it. DJ, thank you for the sample. Thank you so much for the sample. I'm going to go into this lot 40. This is not the cask strength. This is 43% ABV, 86 proof. Need some Lot 40. Yeah. My bourbon journey. It's very dill forward. I'm getting a lot of dill on this one. Very, very dill. Yeah, there is a lot of dill on this one. A lot of dill. There is a little bit of an oak note there. I'm getting some baking spices and there's a huge clove note on this also. It is kind of fresh and clean though. It has a freshness to it. But definitely as a freshness, there is a dill note to it. Very dill forward. Peter said, I told you. Angelo Aguilera, thank you so much for stopping in. I'm going to go for a sip of this one, guys. Cheers. Lot 40. Thank you again, DJ, for the samples. Sent some outstanding samples. Thank you so much, DJ. Cheers, guys. It does have a light velvety mouthfeel. There's vanilla, maybe a little butterscotch hopping in there. And as far as this is not drinking to me, this is not drinking like a rye whiskey. You know, it's not drinking like a rye. It's very subtle. You know, most ryes to me are very aggressive, upfront, forward. This one here is very silky, velvety, and very, it seems kind of thin. It seems a little thin, a little bit thin on the palate. Let me get another sip of water before I go in one more time. Thanks everyone else. I thank everyone for hanging out and hanging around. We are going past 10 o'clock. Definitely the wrong rye spice. Yeah. Cheers. It's kind of thin. It's kind of thin. And DJ, when I'm saying this, it's with the utmost respect. I appreciate the sample so much. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying it's not drinking like a typical rye. It's very thin. It's caramel, vanilla, a little bit of clove. It's definitely different. It's different on the rye whiskey spectrum. Betty says, yeah, Peter, yeah, you're exactly right. I think this would be a great mixer, without a doubt, a great mixer. Definitely not the strong rye space. But you're exactly right. It's not drinking like a rye whiskey at all. But to say it's bad, I'm not saying that by no means at all. It's just not drinking like a rye. It's very velvety, creamy, vanilla caramel, a little bit of a butterscotch, but the nose is kind of different. I'm getting dill on the nose. The nose is kind of different from the palate for me on this. I'm going for another sip, guys. Cheers. Yeah, once again, dill, vanilla caramel, and it just kind of thins out on the finish. I'd say the finish is medium at best, medium finish. But yeah, it's not a horrible whiskey. I don't even know what lot 40 cost. Yeah, I have no idea. I know in the States, it's definitely it's kind of a hard whiskey to get, especially your cask strength lot 40. Kind of one of your harder pours to get. But yeah, it's definitely a nice. It's okay. It's not bad by any means. It's just not drinking like a rye whiskey. $35. I mean, yeah, DJ Beacon says $35. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, $35, 86 proof. But if you're a rye guy, into rye guy, this is definitely not, in my opinion, a rye whiskey that you're going to dig. It by no means. In Canada, it's $39. Yeah, in the States, I think it may go for a little bit more. I think maybe, I don't know. I know the cask strength is usually what we see here in the States is the cask strength rye. It's usually around $60 here in the States. But as far as seeing it goes, you don't really see it too often. But DJ, man, thank you so much for the samples you sent. Man, you sent some great ones. He sent the Glenmorangie Signet. I have not got into that yet. I'm debating on reviewing that. I don't do too many sample reviews just because I think it's a little informal. But there's one. It's a $200 bottle of whiskey. That's one that I kind of want to get into, and I might end up reviewing that one. I don't know. But guys, it's been a great afternoon. I thank everyone so much for stopping in. I'm going to wrap this up. It's a little bit after 10. We went a little bit over. Try to keep it within an hour. People are dropping off. And once again, I thank everyone so much for your support. I'm going to try to get this live stream thing lined out to where I can do it in my set instead of being here in my home. But once again, great afternoon. Great time. Elmer T. Lee, in my opinion, I don't know what your guys' is, but I think Elmer T. Lee is definitely a far superior pour than the Blantons, in my opinion. And that's maybe why it's a little bit harder to get, a little harder to see. I don't know. Peter White, it's 100% rye. That is rye. Pikesville is 51% rye. Try old Patron malted rye. And I've seen that, Peter. I have seen that. I have seen that, Old Petro. I've seen that. I have not tried it, but I have seen it. And it is definitely available whiskey. Have a good weekend, everyone. DJ Beacon, you're definitely correct. I thank everyone so much for watching. I will have a review up tomorrow. It's going to be a Scotch whiskey review. I will have the Longmorn 16 up. Outstanding whiskey. Guys, check that video out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm going to cut this off. Once again, I want to thank everyone for the support. Cheers, guys.